You're watching Around Town with Henry Dormann.
Around Town is sponsored by Chemung Canal Trust Company. They're really nice people. Trust is their middle name. Service is their motto. And I like them a lot, and that's why I bank there. If you ever come by to look me up, I'll be in the vault. Safe place. It's always kind of fun to interview VIPs, and we've come to a place in Ithaca where there's a real VIP who has a future ahead of him because, first of all, he's very young, so he's got to have a good future ahead of him. But he's a really nice fellow. And I had some questions to ask because Ithaca, being mayor of Ithaca, why should people come to Ithaca? Why should they invest in Ithaca? What makes Ithaca so special? Yeah. I wanted to give him a chance to say some nice things about Ithaca. I mean, that's his job.
It is my job. And despite all the complaints I receive from citizens about potholes, I think they know, like I know, what makes Ithaca special, which is, I mean, first you've got the natural environment that's unlike any really on Earth. You've got 6 creeks that run right through the heart of the city. They create these magnificent, dramatic waterfalls. We got 3 institutions of higher education. That mean there are a lot of young people, there are a lot of very diverse people here. And there's a culture that's very warm and embracing. So right now what you find is that a combination of those things, a beautiful natural environment, a lot of very educated folks, a lot of very smart folks, and frankly a place that is open and welcoming means that entrepreneurs want to come here, businesses want to start here, and people want to retire here. That leads to a strong economy.
Is that all?
Is that all? Well, they've got a pretty good mayor too.
What annoys you the most about not only the job but in general?
Oh, in general? What annoys me in general? You know, I've got to tell you, it's true in life and in my job is cynicism. You know, the hardest thing about improving your community is people inside your community who don't believe it's possible, right? It's not the money challenges, you can figure those out. It's not the energy challenges, you can figure those out. It's not creativity, it is cynicism and pessimism. People who will say, don't try something that's never been tried before, or don't try something because it's failed before. You know, those people are the only ones that drive me up against the wall. You know, I often joke with my conservative friends, and this is Ithaca, right? So I joke with both of my conservative friends here that about which party's got the best ideas and which philosophy is better and stronger and more successful. But the truth is that I don't view them as my enemies. I mean, the only people that I ever really get upset with are the people who don't engage at all, the people who don't vote, people who don't care.
How do you solve the problem of those who say you can't do it?
Well, I think you've got to start small. You know, in my case, getting elected to the city council and then becoming mayor. You know, democracy is a great tool for governance because before you can lead, you have to prove to people that you have the ability to. So just winning an election knocks down some level of pessimism, some level of cynicism, you know, which is great, but also doing small things. You know, when I took over, we had the largest budget deficit in the city of Ithaca's history. It was $3 million. And I turned my parking space outside into the smallest park in the city's history. 2 benches, a couple trees, some flowers. You can see it right now. It's a tiny thing. I mean, honestly, it's a symbol, but it was the first symbol that said, okay, we've been in hard times for a long time, but they are not the end times. That new energy and new ideas are still possible. It's still possible to do something new. A small thing, not the biggest thing in the world, but when we later that year rolled out a series of reforms that merged departments inside our government, that streamlined our operations, that introduced an early retirement incentive, we closed that budget deficit. And in fact, we had the lowest tax increase in 13 years while still closing the budget deficit. That's not possible unless you can take small steps that will give people hope and discourage the critics and the cynics. But they'll never go away. Or if they will, they haven't gone away yet. It's been about 5 years.
You've always been interested in young people, and yet young people watch television, and we've got an election coming up. filled with all kinds of the filthiest commentaries, accusations from people who we might have thought better of.
Yeah.
Why should anybody consider going into public life, either as a running for something or in civil service, which is still reasonably respected? Without civil service, there wouldn't be a government.
It's true. And I think we need young people in both. And what I try and tell them is that if you think politics is corrupt, then voting, running for office, and being engaged is the only answer. It's like people who say, well, the air is too polluted, so I don't want to plant any trees. You know, planting trees is how you clean the air, and engaging in politics is how you fix politics. It's how you clean what is dirty. And I think that we're going to see a generation of people who are inspired to do just that. You know, we watch these nasty negative ad campaigns, but we're also the first generation that's been able to connect from our phones, from anywhere in the world, to other people all over the world. And people younger than me, I'm constantly impressed by. I meet people who are 20, 21, 22 years old who do more inside of 24 hours than I could ever hope to. And they are more hopeful than I ever was. You know, they do believe in government. They believe in politics. And they were, you know, they weren't even teenagers when Barack Obama was elected, some of them. So they only know a world where, and what has been, frankly, we can agree or disagree about his politics, but scandal-free administration, an administration that has stayed above the fray and above the fight. And I know that a lot of them have been inspired by the kind of leadership that can hold steady in a seemingly unsteady world.
You haven't had a touch of any kind of scandal?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Well, not yet, but you know, it's only noon, so we'll see how the rest of the day goes.
You have this reputation around the country of being, and you must know this yourself, the fair-haired future boy that's going to really be an inspiration to young people, and not only to Democrats, but across the border, to the Republicans too. Isn't this, you're still young, I mean, this must be very frustrating in some ways, very gratifying in some ways, and very fruitful.
Yeah, it is. There's a funny thing about politics. It's unlike most professions, is that the moment you enter it, people think you want to be president of the United States. You know, I remember I got elected to the city council. I was 20 years old. The night of my election, it was the most important thing I'd ever done in my whole life. And all anybody could ask me is, what are you going to do next? I was like, well, I was hoping to enjoy this for about 15 minutes or so. But it, you know, honestly, it's thrilling to be able to participate at this level. It's wonderful to be able to.
But they're all saying there are other levels coming up.
Yeah, those don't look, we'll see. I'll be honest with you, they don't look as fun. If you ever meet a senator or governor who used to be a mayor, they will all grab you by the shoulders, look you in the eye and say, don't lose what you have. You don't know how good this job is. And it is. I walk to work, it takes 5 minutes, and
you're not accosted or anything?
No, well, sometimes. but no, I mean, no security, and you get to walk past the playground that you helped fix up. You wave at the police officers. It's a nice way to live.
You need a Louis Howe.
What's a Louis Howe?
You ever heard of Louis Howe?
No.
Louis Howe was a reporter in Albany when Franklin Roosevelt was in the state Senate.
Oh.
And he decided to help make Franklin Roosevelt president of the United States. Okay. And he did. It's all in the history books.
Really?
He was a cigarette smoker, a drunk,
Yeah.
lived in the White House,
Yeah.
and did everything with FDR.
Really?
Never asked for a thing himself.
Wow.
Eleanor hated him.
I could imagine.
So you need a Louis Howe because you can't sell yourself.
Yeah.
You need somebody to say how great you are.
Are you interested?
With your blessing. Yeah. I'm too old. I'd do it, but I'm too old.
I doubt that.
Yeah.
I doubt that.
But anyway, we should stop here because I don't want to be dragged into serving when I don't want to.
Okay. Now you know how it feels.
Retire.
Now you know how it feels.
You want to. Thank you.
Sir,
You're an
you
interesting fellow and very, unusual in the way you give interviews and do things and the way you talk. You don't seem to have an ego.
Oh.
I know you've got one, but it doesn't show.
Yeah, I've got one. It's you haven't seen me play video games. That's when it comes out.
Fascinating fellow. Keep track of him. You're going to see more of him. And this is a nice office and it's very air conditioned. We may stay here for a few minutes. We'll see you soon.
Around Town with Henry Dormann will return in a moment.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Now getting rewards is faster than ever. Open a Chemung Canal Trust Company checking account with our debit card and you can join our You Choose Rewards program. Simply use your debit card to buy groceries, gas, or just pay bills. You could earn 5,000 You Choose Rewards points and a fast $50 when you qualify. Open a checking account and watch your points add up fast. For details on how to qualify, visit ChemungCanal.com. Chemung Canal Trust Company, member FDIC.
We now return to Around Town with Henry Dormann.
I have the most fun, and I found a place that you're going to really enjoy, and you're going to save a lot of money, so get a pencil because this is important. This is Brian. Brian, how do you spell your, pronounce your last name? Borchert?
Borchert.
Borchert, you're French.
Yes.
Ah, fancy.
Yes.
He is the top sales guy in New York State, and I think in most of the country, for solar panels. And the name of the company is?
Halco.
Halco.
Yep.
Named for the guy who
Yes,
started.
it's owned by Hal and Tammy Smith.
Isn't that nice?
Yep.
And you are the highest earner.
I do what
You
I...
make more money than he does.
Well, some might argue that, yes. Some other people might argue that as a no. But yes, I do. I seem to do okay for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that Halco kind of believes, the philosophy that we try to take with every customer is essentially trying to reduce energy usage through a series of treatments. You know, our backdrop here displayed basically kind of shows the number of areas that we can treat in a home.
And you have it at your home.
Yes, very much so.
Your kids love this.
They love it tremendously.
Do they know what it is?
They have no idea. I have two kids that are actually under 2 years of age at home, and so what I do love about it is the fact that, you know, I can be out talking with customers and I can show them I have an app on my phone that actually shows how much power I'm producing at that moment. And so to be able to show that to a customer is fantastic.
Now you're going to say that it's to everybody's benefit to have solar power.
Yeah, unless
you have other power interests too.
Absolutely. But what I would say is that if it always starts with an energy audit. There's a program through NYSERDA, which is a New York State program, where most people qualify for this energy audit. It's a no-cost audit. There's no obligation, but it's really kind of about an education in your home and to kind of look at certainties that we know that we can help you with. Like, for example, insulating your attic is an average around 20% savings on your utility bill. And all you did was insulate your attic. And then so there's a series of steps that are usually taken in order to get you down to that infamous net zero. I have customers that do not pay anything but $17 a month for their utility for everything in the home.
Now, people need to contact you to find out more about this.
Absolutely.
Do you have a website? Do you have a telephone number? And how does somebody get a survey for their house free from New York State?
Really, the easiest way is to go on to our website. It's www.halcoenergy.com. There's a link right on there. You can actually just put your information in there. And some people may have taken advantage of having an audit done on their home. We have no issue in coming out and kind of redoing or reassessing the audit if they weren't necessarily happy with the first process
Did
that
they
they
have to
received.
pay you for that?
No, absolutely not. We've never charged anybody to do an energy audit. We need to do the audit in order to make sure that the areas that we're trying to focus on and show you those potential savings are going to truly be those potential savings. And I can't just come in and say and point and look. I really need to run a blower door. I mean, that's probably the most important test that we do, other than the health and safety.
What's a blower door?
So a blower door is
You
where
got all these interesting
yeah,
new things.
we have. So we use infrared.
You really get so excited about this all the time?
I get excited literally every single day that I wake up about the opportunity to go out there and help people, because I live in an 1850 house. The house is 2,700 square feet, geothermal, fully insulated, solar panels. I got a pool, in-ground pool. I take the heat from inside my house, and I actually will heat my pool from air conditioning my home. I'll literally absorb that energy and put it out into my pool. So it's a way to live comfortably, but also make it where it's a very inexpensive way to live, because the cost of energy is going up. That's what we know. That's a certainty. We don't know. What is uncertain is how much is it going to go up. With the new EPA mandate and regulation of the methane capture that is about to basically be released, that is going to have a huge effect on everything: electric, natural gas, fuel oil.
I don't know anything about that.
So out of the Paris summit, Obama signed the Clean Energy Act that basically came back to the United States to try and reduce the amount of greenhouse gas that we emit as a country. And the EPA came out with a regulation where power companies and oil companies and gas companies now have to capture methane gas, and instead of just burning it off the way that they do now. And so the billions of dollars that it's going to cost to redo the infrastructure that they have in order to make that happen, you don't think that they're just going to absorb that cost, right? So they're going to end up rolling that out to the customer, the consumer. So the more energy you use, the more it costs.
You should be a teacher.
I've been told that actually as well. But I'm very passionate about what we do. I'm an ESF graduate. I have a degree from environmental science and forestry with a focus in forest health. I do care very much about our planet Earth. I want it to be here for generations to come. And last year was literally the hottest year on record since we've been keeping track. So global warming is here. 2016 has already been warmer than 2015. And we're on pace to make yet another record-breaking temperature for our, in this time. So it's only going to get worse and worse. Well, the warmer it gets outside, the more people will run air conditioning, which of course now you're using more energy. So what's really nice is like my air conditioner will run, and I'll go out to my meter for my solar panels, and I'm still feeding electricity onto the grid. So I'm essentially running my air conditioning for free at that time. So it's an awesome opportunity to look at whether you do it in stages of just insulating the house, and now you can run your air conditioner less or run your furnace or boiler less because you've made the house more comfortable, less air exchange, and that goes back to the blower door. The blower door is a test where we want to look at how much air is infiltrating into the home. So through the attic or through the basement or around your windows and doors, there is air movement that comes in. So what we do is we will look to see how much actual air is coming in and how much air should be coming in based off a mathematical formula to determine what the building airflow standard should be.
And now you're going to come and tell me what I should do at my place.
Absolutely.
At my home.
Absolutely.
And what if we got 3 or 4 buildings? You do all of them?
We do all of them. We do all of them. And then you can actually potentially look at doing one large solar array and offset the solar at multiple locations.
Now, if people call in and contact you, do they get a special break because they see it on this television show?
Absolutely. What we can do is, if you mention the show, we'll offer a 5% rebate or discount right off at the top of what we do.
Need the phone number?
Actually, the website is really the easiest way to get to us.
Thank you. You are a terrific salesman.
Thank you very much.
You should see his eyes glisten when he talks about solar. Boy, your family must be really sunk into this.
Oh, very much so.
Good. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to ask him to come and do a survey. Who knows, the next time you see me, I may be up on the roof.
Around Town with Henry Dormann will return in a moment.
Yeah, it's going down. We about to live it up, y'all. Let's go.
It's a big world, and now we're loving this town. It's our turn, so put your hands up. We on the big screen, and everybody's here living out our dreams. Dreams, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Don't be scared, take a chance. Come on, give me a hand. It's time to laugh, time to smile. Now let's get up and dance. Come on, everybody, let's live it up. Let it out if you can't get enough. This right here gon' make you jump, jump, jump. This is home. This is the place. We break it out, sing it loud, scream and shout. This is home. Hey, yeah. This is home.
Now, getting rewards is faster than ever. Open a Chemung Canal Trust Company checking account with our debit card, and you can join our You Choose Rewards program. Simply use your debit card to buy groceries, gas, or just pay bills. You could earn 5,000 You Choose Rewards points and a fast $50 when you qualify. Open a checking account and watch your points add up fast. For details on how to qualify, visit ChemungCanal.com. Chemung Canal Trust Company, member FDIC.
We now return to Around Town with Henry Dormann.
Now for a treat. The music in this museum is terrific because it's got acoustics you wouldn't believe. We're in the Curtis Museum in Hammondsport with Richard Clark, who is a master violinist and runs an orchestra that has dates all around the Finger Lakes, and you've got to come and see them. He'll tell you all about the dates, where it is. In fact, one of them is going to be held here at the Curtis Museum. So now, Mr. Richard Clark, I'm leaving it all to you. And then he's going to play a piece which people pay to see, and we're going to get it for free.
Well, I'm the artistic director of the Finger Lakes Chamber Music Festival, and my group from New York City, the Manhattan Chamber Orchestra, which appears at Carnegie Hall every year and has put out about 50 CDs of mostly American music, we play up here all throughout the summer in many different venues.
I have a question for you. This sounds like it's very high level, very posh.
It's a great group. My Manhattan Chamber Orchestra has been heard around the world. We've toured. The albums are played internationally. There's rarely a day that goes by that we're not played on National Public Radio someplace in the country. And we do a lot of premiere music, new music. I'm a composer myself.
What a gift you have.
It's a lot of fun. It's a special treat.
You're going to play something for us?
I'm going to play some Bach for you.
Bach is generally pretty sad, isn't it?
Oh, only some movements. One will be a little melancholy and the other will be almost like a fiddle tune. These are a suite of dances. One is the allemande and the other is the courante.
Oh. Take it away. That was beautiful. Sometimes I think that Bach is kind of highbrow. Do you think so? It seems very sparkly, though.
Well, you know, we've only done that in the 20th century. Bach was a peasant, like most folk. He was a poor composer. He wasn't treated well in his lifetime, and he wrote music for the people. These popular dances were popular because they were of the common folk. Bach is our great hero, but unfortunately the aristocracy has made classical music something that seems beyond the reach. The music we do is meant for us, for everyday people. I'm a local kid. I went to public music schools. I learned my craft right here in Vestal, New York. And
where do you get this enthusiasm from?
I love music. You know, and it takes one good teacher. I'm a teacher myself, and I always tell my kids, you must teach, because the arts are all about the oldest style in the world, master and apprentice. We are the only craft that still teaches in that way, one-on-one. And it's inspiring, it energizes. My professors, some of the great violinists and violists of the world, lived well into their 90s because they were youthful because of their art. Their craft made them young.
It's like conductors who live to great old ages because they exercise so much.
Yes, it's good workout for the heart. Absolutely.
What's your dream? What are you going to be?
Well,
what are you going to be when you grow up?
I have an opera being premiered that I wrote with the author Kurt Vonnegut. It's called Happy Birthday, Wanda June. Indianapolis Opera is giving its world premiere, and I just hope that my music lives on long after I'm gone.
What a treasure.
Thank you.
What a wonderful, wonderful way. You have such absolute joy of life. Is it music that does that?
It's music.
Really?
And my students. I love teaching. All my musicians teach, and we all go into the summer camps here and into the schools to play for students and give them the love of music.
I wish that I could have all of this talent oozing from your arm into mine, but I'm a lost cause. Thank you so much.
You're watching WENY HD.